Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we're the co-hosts of the Gourmet Goober podcast. Hey, let me ask you something. Have you ever wanted to make a podcast of your very own? Well, Spotify has a platform that lets you make one super easy and distribute it everywhere and even earn money. It's an all-in-one place solution and it's for free. Get that. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or your computer, so that way, no matter what your setup is, you can start creating today. And get this, you can distribute your podcasts to Spotify and everywhere else that podcasts are heard, right? You can even make video podcasts right on Spotify as well. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscription. And best of all, did I tell you guys it's free, right? Because it's free and there's no catch. Let me tell you something. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I've been loving this platform, okay? It makes creating and producing the Gourmet Goober podcast so easy to do. And it makes it so easy as well to distribute the show through all the platforms. And you guys know you can hear the Gourmet Goober podcast everywhere. So I highly recommend it you give this a try. Do me a favor, download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. Thank you for listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. Now back to the show. Everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
Hi, this is T Outlaw.
And you have made it to yet another episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. You can find me, JJ Outlaw, at JJ Outlaw on Twitter, at Gourmet Goober on Instagram, and something new that even my co-host does not know. There is a new social media platform that people have been talking about for a while called Spottable. And if you're on Spottable, look me up. I'm at JJ Outlaw on Spottable.
Okay.
Twitter's always going to be my main place until it just gets crazy. So we don't know how long Twitter's going to be. But if you're on Spottable, you can find me at JJ Outlaw on Spottable. Gotta have a backup plan. In this day and age, you gotta have it.
Okie dokie.
So, and I did it because I didn't want anyone to take JJ Outlaw because, that's who I am.
Very good.
So anyway, I'm here with my co-host. He's still looking a little dumbfounded. That dude, my BFF, my hubby, the Dark Desperado. You know what? I'm going to put a moratorium on that.
No, wait a minute. How are you going to put a moratorium on something that I own?
Well, first of all, you technically do not own the Dark Desperado. We didn't trademark it.
But damn it, until somebody comes and takes it, guess who it belongs to?
And two, according to our president, COVID is no longer a thing.
Wait a minute. First of all, he has other things to worry about than whether or not I carry this moniker.
Okay. But remember, you're going to carry it only until COVID is over. And the pandemic is over, according to him.
Do I still need to get shots in my arms?
Well, yeah, and we still wear masks because we like crazy safe like that, but...
Exactly. So as such, I will still retain it until I feel comfortable that we are out of said pandemic.
Dang it, we're going to call it that forever.
I'm sorry, does that affect you or hurt you in the least?
No, I always forget to call you Dark Desperado.
Well, damn it, I'm keeping it in shape, so there it is.
Anyway, whoever you are, you're T Outlaw. Tell the people about you and where to find you.
Well, you can find me, that guy, that dude, this fellow, the Dark Desperado, T Outlaw, the notorious non-Tico Wells. You can find me on
the notorious non-Tico Wells? Why did we run with that? I like calling you non-Tico Wells.
Well, I don't know how Tico Wells himself feels about it.
That's why you're the non one.
Exactly. And that would be T Outlaw on Twitter. And you can also find me on IG, because I don't have like 1 million followers on IG, at T Outlaw Josie Wells.
We don't either. We're just comfortable enough to have enough followers that occasionally I get bothered by people who want us to do something and get in contact in our DMs, but not enough to be like a big time star. We're in a sweet spot.
No, I basically am just followed by bots and Instagram hoes.
Hey, you have Instagram hoes following you too?
Hey, at least I'm now on, what is it, Spottable or whatever?
Hey,
being followed by, like, I don't know, Loki or whatever.
You wish I would follow by Loki. I wish I was followed by Loki. Hey, Tom Hiddleston, if you're listening, look me up.
No.
Anyway, we are on Facebook as well at the Gourmet Goober blog. Why, you ask? Because we used to be, and still is, a food blog that you can find at thegourmetgoober.com. So now that we got all the housekeeping out the way and confused the hell out of our listeners.
Yeah, it's basically old folks bickering.
Hey, I'm not old.
Speak for your damn self.
We are happy to be back. Wow, it's been a crazy few weeks. Dude, with Valentine's Day and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which doesn't sound like it should be an official day, but it is for me because I'm a blurred.
You are.
There was, the NBA All-Star Game. So just tons of stuff that's happened in between the mic. And of course, we are working on, oh my gosh, I wish I could tell you. We are going to be restarting our interviews, and I'm working on such a huge one. But I can't say anything yet. So.
Have you been sworn to secrecy?
Well, I usually like to wait until everything is, done, right?
Okay.
We dot the I's. And it's like when we got that interview with Bob's Burgers and the Bob's Burgers team, and I wanted to tell everybody. And you're like, dude, until the interview's done, be quiet. But you know me, right? It's really hard for me to do that. So I want to put it outside of my car as I drive by. Hey, I'm interviewing this person.
Hey,
but I know I can't. So I'm being very nice, and I'm talking to his people who are very cool as well. Hello, mystery persons people.
Okay.
But yeah, we have just been really busy on a lot of cool stuff.
I agree. I mean, it's helpful, and hopefully we will get back to you soon with updates on what we have in store.
Yes, including something that hopefully will happen later this year that we will share with you guys and take you along the way when we do it. And that's all that we can say for now.
Fair enough.
So, how was your week, my dear?
How was my week?
Or the last few weeks since you've been on the mic.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to give great respect to the people who brought us Black History Month, the shortest month of the year.
Oh, yeah. Of course, always.
Yes. We give thanks to give credence that we are here to learn about our history and not have it withheld from us. Because if we do not learn about our history, we are once again doomed to repeat it. But we're not going to get into that. There was a Super Bowl. I am not Rihanna's baby daddy.
We know this because
I don't have that kind of talent at all. Not even remotely close. We get it. But yeah, there was a Super Bowl. I watched it a little bit. We watched for commercials and whatnot. A couple good ones, a couple of crazy ones. But besides that, and I know we're still waiting for the Academy Awards and see if Slapfest 2 comes down. The other thing that went on was...
Wait, did you say Slapfest?
Slapfest 2023.
What's Slapfest?
Well, I know that
Is that a sport?
It should be. But, we're not going to get deep into the slap, that was heard around the world.
Oh, you mean Slapfest. Didn't you share with me once that there was actually, like, a slap type thing that's a sport? Like,
yes,
for reals.
There are a set of competitions where it's almost like arm wrestling, but it's like slapping where one person will, basically lay the hardest pimp hand down upon the other one. And I guess whoever either falls flat or basically, I don't know, just says no mas.
It's slap fighting. I just Googled it. It's known as slap fighting.
Okay.
I don't understand why that's a thing. Or slap boxing.
I'm a proponent. Or at least I should be.
See, these are things they should have told you about when you were children. There's a possibility of being a job. Like, for example, we're old enough to know that if we were present to figure out that gaming could be a thing, bitches, I would take all of y'all in Pac-Man from way long ago. Okay? I would be rolling in Pac-Man money. But my mother was just like, you're not going to make a career out of this. She was wrong. Just like slapping. If I knew that laying down a pimp hand could be a way to put bread on the table, really?
I laugh because I think that we kind of did that in grade school when we were bored and had nothing better to do.
Yes, but you didn't think that they would pay you for it. They left that part out. At what point did they decide that that was a way to make a living?
Good question. But I would think that I would want to go to the Olympics of slap fighting. That might be an interesting way to, make it to the top and earn good money. I keep having thoughts of, Mickey Mouse, being a good slap fighting boxer. But, yeah, nonetheless, aside from that, hopefully that will not occur again at the Academy Awards. And
yes.
If so, there are counselors, or as you would say, crisis teams.
Oh, that's right. They came up with a crisis team, I read.
Yeah. A crisis team for basically two men having a public discussion that really should have just been a backstage incident. But anyway.
It should have just stayed on World Star Hip Hop.
True.
If you don't know what World Star Hip Hop is, just Google it. We're not going to stop for that.
Good enough. But nonetheless, there is the NBA All-Star Game. Or All-Star Weekend, as you would say.
Now, this year they had it in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
And if you have listened to the Gourmet Goober podcast in the past, then you will know the great affinity that Big Daddy and I have over the NBA All-Star Game. Like, our first official date was during an All-Star Saturday, believe it or not. Remember we went to the semi-formal together in college, and then we had taped the dunk contest, and we came home and watched the dunk contest together.
We did.
Also, that's when we had our first kiss. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But that's when it happened. If they happen to be listening.
A kiss is a kiss. But yes, that was when we had our first really good embrace.
Yeah.
And get together was during the All-Star Skills Saturday.
Yeah, so it's kind of been like a thing for us over the years. And if you also listen to the show, then you would know that during All-Star Weekend when it was held in Chicago, Big Daddy and I had a great time with that as well. Including that I almost got a chance to hang out with Bishop Don on Magic Wand.
Yes.
Until Big Daddy put a kibosh on that because he didn't want me to hang out with a pimp. Mm. He wasn't going to have me work the street. You don't know.
I don't know what kind of, organization that this man has.
Look, Snoop Dogg was going to be there.
We didn't know what Snoop Dogg was going to be doing.
Look, you guys, you can go back and listen to the episode. It's a really great tale. But yes, I might have been invited to hang out with a pimp's party. I didn't do it, though, because, quite frankly, I was working for a nonprofit for violence against women, rather. So I just figured it would be a bad look if I showed up, right?
Yes.
And maybe it would have pissed off my husband. But anyway, the point I'm trying to say is we're huge fans of the NBA. We always have great stories around the NBA All-Star Game. We actually went to, what was it, the Rookies game?
Yeah,
or the Rising Stars.
The Rising Stars competition, which was the Friday night when it was 4 degrees.
Yes.
At the United Center.
And we got stuck at Harold's Chicken with half of Chicago.
With a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
In one enclosed space.
And I ate your chicken.
And you ate my chicken. Blasphemy.
Look, you left the chicken in the fridge for several days. I was on you.
See, this goes back to Harlem Nights. I had it sitting there prepared, ready to go for when I had that, you know, when you have that taste in your mouth, when you was ready to come get it. And when I went to go get it, it was not there to be gotten. Because the Goober got her hands on it and just said, oh, he wasn't thinking about it, so.
No, I asked you and you were asleep and rolled over, so I took that as a yes.
Oh, so wait a minute. My non-confirmation at that point was basically me saying, oh, go ahead and just knock out this chicken.
Yes, and it was great. Anyway, so going back to our story. So.
You took away Harold's Chicken from me because I was you caught me in a state.
How did we get down this rabbit hole? I'm sure everyone's confused.
We go down rabbit holes every single episode, but nonetheless.
So. All-Star Game, All-Star Saturday night, big deal in our house. We watched it, and weren't you going to say something about the dunk contest, right?
No, I was going to talk about this chicken again, but first there was a skills comp. So after that was the three-point shootout, which was won by Damian Lillard of Portland.
Right.
That was actually entertaining, as I was sitting there counting shots. So that was cool. And then there was the dunk contest, the AT&T Slam Dunk, which was, for the past few years, has been lackluster. We'll start off with saying that. It has been a thing where you won't have like the elite dunkers in the NBA up to that point. You'll just have some guys who are on rosters that are just like, okay, so we're going to show up and, get a couple good dunks in. But, well, let's just call it what it is. It's just not been a huge thing. We've gone through different iterations of how we could make it more interesting, but it was kind of lacking up this year.
Yeah, the little guy who won, and maybe I shouldn't call him little guy because he's still taller than me by a foot, as I found out.
6'2".
Yeah, a foot taller than me.
Okay, so yeah, he's about 4 inches taller than I am.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Really? Are we going here?
Anyway, Mac McClung, I think is his name. Yes. He was amazing. The incredible thing about him is he just joined the NBA from the G League. Like, he wasn't a regular NBA player. Like, he had just got a contract and played all of, 2 games with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, I don't even know if he got even 2 games in with the 76ers up to that point.
And then he went from that to literally winning the dunk contest, going in the same rarefied air as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
If you think about it, he was called up on that contract literally almost a day before the participants were named for said competitions.
And he's been posting dunks on YouTube for a long time.
True.
So it's not like he hasn't been on their radar.
Exactly. So I think that this was a salvo from the NBA to say, hey, we need to step up the competition, so we're going to bring in somebody who may not be worrying about their playing time or contracts right now. So, granted, I could be very much wrong, and Mac McClung could, hang around for the rest of the season and further for the 76ers, but that's what I believe, and that's what I'm going to stick to until I'm proven wrong.
But honestly, Big Daddy and I would watch the All-Star Dunk Contest back in the day when we were in each other's dorm rooms. That's how long it's been a part of our lives together, right? And we would automatically talk like, dude, that's like one for the ages, right? And you don't really get a lot of those responses anymore with the contest. So hopefully this will bring it back to his former glory. I think he did a really great job. It was really enjoyable. I really liked it. And there were several times Big Daddy and I were like, damn, did that little dude do that? And I call him a little dude because he was way shorter than the other participants. But he did that thing. So shout out to him for bringing it and making the rim rock during what may have been a lackluster competition.
Fair. I'm willing to say, like, I'll give Mac McClung his due, and like I said, hopefully he hangs around. But also, I'd like to give thanks to the rest of the participants, and also to the other competitions, because I know the Goober was also a fan of the 3-point contest.
Yeah, they were. The 3-point contest was really good. We had 2 representatives of my Indiana Pacers on there, which totally loved. Yeah, they lost to Dame Lillard, but at the same time, it was a good contest, so no complaints there.
Yeah.
That wasn't the only thing that happened during our time that we've been away. The other thing was Valentine's Day.
Oh, boy.
I have to say, if I do say so myself, that I should probably take home the award for Best Wife Ever. And why, you ask? Big Daddy, do you want to share what I got you for Valentine's Day?
The Gourmet Goober has once again found a way to always change up my perspective of what I think that she's going to give me in terms of presents. So this time I'm anticipating maybe it'll just be something simple like, it'll be a sandwich, or maybe it will be something kind of cerebral.
Wait, you thought I was going to get you a sandwich?
Well,
dang.
I knew it would be food related. I'll say that. Because I wasn't expecting roses or anything like that. But nonetheless, she definitely stepped up, and she gave me, of all things, she gave me a nice little speaker, so I could use it from my cell phone.
Technically, those were for the pets.
Oh, I'm sorry. The pets, my doggy, and
the doggy producer,
and Ricks and Rocks over here, the 2 cats from the block, the ghetto cats. They gave me a nice little speaker. Also, the Goober gave me a money gun. Not that I have money to put in the money gun that's actually real.
Well, there's fake money in there.
There's fake money.
Yeah, there's $1,000 in fake money.
Let me emphasize the word fake.
Yes.
Because I don't have real money. Unless they want, the $1.99, deal. And you can't exactly shoot coins from a gun. But the Goober also gave me one of the things that I believe the last time you gave it to me was around our anniversary, over a year ago. She hooked me up with a brand new assortment of wings, not just regular good old chicken wings, but we're talking about chicken wings from my favorite establishment that I may or may not have visited years upon years ago, well before I met the Goober. A certain establishment around Atlanta that is known for having glass slippers, that is known for having very good chicken, but also very good entertainers. It is from a place called Magic City. And the proprietor has contacted an NBA player named Lou Williams, who makes some very good chicken wings. Or, has his name on some very good chicken wings called Lemon Pepper Lou Wings. Oh, these are some of the best chicken wings I have ever had.
Let's just put it, these wings are so good. Lou Williams is risking getting thrown out of a season of the NBA to hit up these wings, okay?
Yeah, Lou went AWOL for these wings.
Lou went AWOL during a pandemic to get his hands on these wings. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. And I know we have talked about this in a previous episode, like a little ways back, but yeah. My wife got me some lemon pepper Lou wings. They were very good, tasty wings.
And because you can't just have the wings by themselves, I got you the Make It Rain Moneymaker. So you can have the full strip club experience without being at the strip club. See, that's how I care for you.
Thank you. All I gotta do is get a pole up in here and make things, make some change go strange.
No, you don't want my behind on a pole. I can't guarantee my safety or anybody else's.
Well, that means I gotta take the money and go to a club and make some things happen.
Now you go up in that club with those fake $100 bills. We'll see where that gets you. Anyway, so I got the idea because I was looking online for something for work, and I came across an ad listing for the Make It Rain Moneymaker at Target, and I was like, I cannot leave this earth without handing that to Big Daddy. What do I do with it? And then I thought, well, you can't have the Moneymaker without strip club wings. So there you have it.
I was very appreciative for these wings.
I also think you just enjoy me getting it because you get to tell your coworkers, my wife got me strip club wings for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Some coworkers they thought that she was the best wife ever. I also thought it was really strange when my boss echoed the same sentiments. But then I'm thinking, because my boss apparently follows me on social media, that was kind of scary. Wanted nothing to do with that again. But yes, I thought it was a tremendous gift, and I was very, very happy to receive it.
After nearly 20 years of being with you, some people may ask, JJ, why strip club wings? Aren't you afraid of giving him any ideas? To which I reply, I get to eat them too. And they are great.
They are great.
I'd work a little change up in here on a pole to get my hands on some. Well, not really, because Big Daddy knows my issues for going to a strip club and wanting to, disinfect everything. I'm not sure how it works. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole here. That I'm glad that I got that for you. And hopefully you enjoy it. And to the great people at Goldbelly, thank you again for hooking us up and giving us an opportunity to order that.
Yes.
Cannot recommend Goldbelly enough for experiences like that. They are great.
They were very, very appreciative. I was very, very happy. Now, I guess the flip side of that is, so what did I bless the Goober with? Well,
he tried to kill me. Just kidding.
Not
Just
by
kidding.
intention.
You did not intend to do that.
Okay. So, I guess I am due for this explanation. And I will make it very, very brief. So I was watching of all things, like the Tamron Hall show. Shout out to Tamron Hall, former Chicago anchor. On one of her shows, she had a vendor from a place called the Harlem Chocolate Factory. Harlem Chocolate, of course, is in New York City. They make some very good chocolate. I don't remember everything about this place, or her story, her backstory, I would say. But I said to myself, after listening to the segment and Tamron Hall co-signing on how good these chocolates were, I say, I want to support, a small business, and even though it's not in my local area, I want to support, good black business. So I made the adjustment and went and online purchased to have delivered some truffles from Harlem Chocolate Factory. And I had to pay extra because I wasn't sure if it was going to make it by Valentine's Day. So I also tried to save my ass by buying some roses, which helped me out a little bit. But yeah, so I bought some roses and I bought some chocolates. So I got wings, she got chocolates. I think I made out better on this deal because...
Here's the thing. For those of you who aren't familiar with the show, or for me, but I have a really bizarre sensitivity to alcohol, which means that I can't drink it, I can't metabolize it. Even small amounts, like amounts in like what's normally known as non-alcoholic drinks, like non-alcoholic wines, or not like the sparkling grape juice, but like stuff that's made by Sutter Home Frey, for example, which has up to 0.05% alcohol in it. What you would commonly call near beer, like O'Doul's.
Yep.
That is enough to give me plastered as hell. I don't know why. It's always been that way. I found out this when I was in college years ago. I had 3/4 a can of Coors Light and blacked the fuck out. Like, literally, they were calling the ambulance when I came to. I literally went to the doctor who said, please have more of a tolerance than I do. So what that means, long story short, is at our wedding, we toasted each other with Sprite. So anyway, Big Daddy was kind enough to give me these incredible truffles, which, by the way, are great. They have unique flavors, like not just traditional chocolate truffles. So we got like sweet potato pie, banana pudding. There was a red velvet truffle, but then they also had truffles that were loaded with cognac and champagne and Uncle Nearest whiskey. And so I thought I was reaching for one that was the red velvet one, and I accidentally ate the one with the Uncle Nearest. Oh, let me tell you, that was a lit day at the office. So that's why I pulled Big Daddy aside and said, you know, when you ordered this, you accidentally sent me some with alcohol in it, so I can't finish all of them. So you had a chance to enjoy them too, and I hope they were really delicious.
They were.
But Big Daddy, bless his heart, was like freaking out the entire week because, in his words, he almost killed me with my Valentine's Day present.
Yeah, so this is a shout out to the nice people at Harlem Chocolate Factory who did an absolutely splendid job with these truffles. Also for having tremendously good truffles. Exactly. Also to the men and women out there, read every part of the order.
Yes.
To make sure that you, as a person who has been around the Goober's life for almost 30 years, to be able to know what may or may not have alcohol in said chocolates.
Yeah, because, that would have been kind of awkward to explain to my mom and dad. So, hey, where's JJ? What happened to her on Valentine's Day? Truffle. What? Well, I gave her a whiskey truffle. And she just up and died.
Yeah, that would have been kind of hard to explain to my in-laws.
Yeah.
How did you do in? Because I don't want to be. I don't want to end up being on Inside Edition with like
oh my
or
God.
TMZ with like my mother-in-law like just doing interviews with like Nancy Grace or Deborah Norville.
Yeah. Cases. We don't need that. Yeah. So on that note, we would skip that Valentine's Day.
Yes. So anyway, back to food and pop culture, allegedly.
Oh my gosh. I think we have just blown this segment.
Okay, so...
We're sorry.
I would like to believe were we going to talk about Ant-Man, or were we just going to
Well, we don't have to make Ant-Man long, because remember I saw Ant-Man, and what did I say as we were leaving? It was the shit. That's all I have to say about it. It was good. I enjoyed it.
It was.
King the Conqueror is gonna, fuck up everybody. And he's gonna be in Loki again. So, that's all you need to know. So, on that note, we're gonna take a break.
Wait a minute. An entire Marvel movie explained in a few words.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, in a production meeting, you say that sometimes I go too much on that tangent. So I'm just going to say, forget all the, Rotten Tomato reviews. It was the shit. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it also. Because apparently, as the Goober says, it was the shiznits.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to take a break. We're going to take a moment to recollect ourselves. And then we're going to come back with 3 stories that intersect food. I'm sorry. Let's try this again.
Would you like me to do it? We're going to do 3 stories that basically discuss the intersection between food and pop culture.
Yes. And I promise it will have no conversation about zombies, basketball, or gators.
Or at least we'll try not to.
We will talk about alcohol, though.
Alrighty.
So you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We will be right back. Hey guys, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we're the co-hosts of the Gourmet Goober podcast. Let me ask you something. Have you guys ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Yes.
I know when we were starting to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions, right? Like, how do we record an episode? How do we get our shows and all those apps that people like to listen to? And more importantly, how do we make money from the podcast, right? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're reading this ad, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love Anchor. Anchor has made it really simple to start the Gourmet Goober podcast. It's been a great thing to use, and Big Daddy's a big fan.
Yes, I am.
So if you wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, just go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me, Big Daddy, and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast. Hey guys, I'm JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober, and I'm here to share this great new recipe journal from author Gaby Lorano. It's a progressive cooking journal designed for short and simple recipes at the beginning, before advancing with spaces for longer recipes as you go. It's colorful, fun, fits easily in the kitchen drawer, and it's perfect for any home cook. Best of all, it has over 100 pages for your most beloved culinary delights. Be sure to get your copy today at Amazon.com. Hey everyone, we are back. This is JJ Outlaw.
And this is T Outlaw.
And this is What's Eating Us. It's the segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast where we share 3 stories that cross the intersection of food and pop culture. And I have to say, I'm really loving the stories that we're going to present this week, especially the third one. I have to say that even though we talked at length on the first segment about the fact that I cannot consume alcohol, I almost wish I could just to get my hands on one of these things. But we'll talk about that more in a moment. Our first story, actually, we wanted to include it because we thought it would be a perfect pair to the story that we presented last week. If you guys may recall, we shared with you what we deem to be forevermore the world's greatest chicken wing heist. Why? Because one woman managed to steal over 11,000 boxes. Over $1 million. I think it was like 1.5 million?
Sounds about right.
Something like that. Of chicken wings from Gordon's Food Service. Which is not only ingenious of itself and how she pulled it off, but the fact that the organization that she stole it under the name of didn't even serve chicken wings. And she was able to pull that off for many years. I stand a legend. Okay, I appreciate a good chicken wing. Big Daddy knows this. I literally gave him chicken wings for Valentine's Day. But not just any chicken wings, okay? Like we established, they're the world's best chicken wings.
Yes. Very good strip club wings.
And a moneymaker if you would decide to, want to recreate the strip club experience at home.
Don't think I won't try.
I'm warning you, don't take those fake $100 bills into an actual club now. I don't have bail money for you trying to cheat those women.
I'll also take my track shoes.
I've seen you run. You're not going to get far.
Oh, she put me out there on blast.
That's okay, baby. Neither am I. So, on that note, we were just trying to figure out, as we were going over stories in our production meeting. Dude, what could totally top that theft of the chicken wings? Well, you know what? The UK is not to be trifled with. They want to put in their own order for the most audacious food-related theft. And so that's why this story totally intrigued me because, again, like chicken wings, I appreciate a good Cadbury Creme Egg. Big Daddy knows this. It's the one thing that I insist on getting my hand on this time of year. It's one of my only foodie traditions I got.
Yeah, she is a fan.
Seriously. The day after Easter, I am one of those people who are like scouting looking for the Cadbury Creme Eggs.
Yeah, she's almost a hoarder, kind of like this fellow.
I'm not ashamed of that. You say that like it's a bad thing, but I'm not nearly as bad as this guy because, dude, in London, there was a guy who was convicted of stealing nearly 200,000 Cadbury Creme Eggs, which as of this recording as of right now was $48,000 or 40,000 pounds, and what the British police has dubbed a quote-unquote egg trafficking theft. Okay, I didn't come up with that joke. That was not me. I'm merely the messenger.
That's okay. We'll let this go this one time.
So this guy by the name of Joby Poole, he pleaded guilty in court recently to what it was called criminal damage and theft. And he basically he used a metal grinder to break into a unit in Stafford Park in Telford, West England, and made off with over 200,000 chocolate eggs.
I think I'm thrown, first of all, because I think when we visited London, I think we went through Telford.
You know what? I think you're right.
And I think I know where the building is.
Now I'm pissed, because had I known I'd been that close to it, that might have been me. That would have been a totally different story. American woman smuggles.
Better question is, how was you going to get that back on the plane and through customs?
Well, you know what?
Oh, wait, man, I like how she's thinking about it. Like, yeah, you know what? See how
it depends on what airport. Because remember when we went through Heathrow and we had something to declare, they really didn't go through our shit, did they?
No, they did not.
So we just sort of like got it on through. So depending on where we hit the eggs, we could have totally made it. Not that I'm thinking of, when we go back to London this year to do that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Mental note, examine suitcases to see where I could stash the eggs.
Telford, West London building. Some reason was broken into multiple times, including by a little black woman with a lot of random eggs or orbs in her pocket and or purse.
Look, every black woman knows in the last resort you can stuff them in your bra, okay?
Oh, I apologize.
I grew up with a black mama, you grew up with a black mama. There's some places they're not willing to search. But we also know that black mamas used to put back in the day like candy, money, different stuff in your bra. I am prepared. Now, 200 eggs might be a little much. I mean, I do have big breasts, but I don't know if I could pull that off.
What are you going to do? Whip out one of those Medea bras?
Who's going to question that?
Why is those things dragging on the ground?
Plus, I need to put something cool in there so they don't melt. Yeah. This I'm going to have to put some thought behind it. But anyway, what Jorby did is he used a meat grinder to break into the unit, and then he took off in a tractor unit When the police found out that what he did, they gave chase, obviously.
So it was like the Italian Job.
Yeah, it pretty much was. Until he realized that he was being placed by the police and then pulled over into a safe location when he recognized that the gang was up, so the police can come and get him.
I love the fact that over there, like, you're like, oh, like we're in the middle of a chase, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess the time's up. I'm not gonna get into a shootout because, well, we don't have a lot of shootouts over there. So we're just gonna do it so nicely.
Yeah, the Pool's solicitor, which is a fancy way of saying lawyer,
Got it?
said that he wasn't offering any resistance, and then he was arrested. So no one laid the smackdown on him for trying to abscond 200,000 Cadbury eggs. Sadly, I don't think that would actually happen here in the United States.
No, because they would literally put me on, like, in the ground just for stealing some eggs. And then, of course, I guess if I stole some regular eggs, and people would really come after me with pitchforks and whatnot.
Dude, as expensive as regular eggs are, it's easier to get away with gold in Fort Knox than eggs nowadays.
True.
I paid almost $4 for a carton of eggs this week.
$4?
Yes.
Last time I went in the store, it was still $6.75.
I went to Aldi's.
Okay.
They have a little bit of a discount.
Okay. Ergo for discounts.
So, my question is, because they never explain what Here's my question, okay. Like in the case of the chicken wing theft. Now, like I said, I can appreciate a good wing. And we have like a really nice deep freezer, but even we can't store 11,000 cases of chicken wings in our deep freezer. We can't. So, what are they doing with, like, what was he planning to do with 200,000 Cadbury eggs?
Sell them.
So you think he's going to roll around London, maybe wait outside a tube station, hey, want to buy some eggs?
Yeah. No, great. They're going to ask, like, which eggs you're talking about. But yeah, like, especially, like, women like you, that, yeah, they'll be like, listen, I got a box of Cadbury eggs on the cheap. I got a hookup. Because, I guess over there, as much as over here, you can always get a good hookup.
Yeah, that is true.
Plus, depending on the chocolatier, over in London, they do have, like, nice things that they do with some of the Cadbury eggs.
I don't know. I almost think in the grand scheme of things, it might be a little easier to spread the chicken wings around than the Cadbury eggs because they're so specific. And I think people might be tipped off to the idea that suddenly someone came about and had over 200,000 eggs. Now, they're not big eggs, but you have to, like, store them, and so they don't melt. I think if I came home, and you're like, hey, baby, I got some Cadbury eggs for you, to the tune of over 200,000, I might have questions for you. Chicken wings might be a little bit better, because it'll be like, you can literally say, well, they fell off a truck, or, we went to that one place that we will not name that has really good deal on meat because we don't want it to get gentrified. The place where we got the tomahawk steaks that will go unnamed?
Exactly. I understand completely.
So you can tell me, like, you know what? They had a really great deal on chicken wings. And you might be able to hide that from me for a little while. I don't know, to the tune of 11,000.
No. In this neighborhood, not a whole lot of people are going to ask a whole lot of questions past, are they good? They're not going to ask questions, first and foremost. And let me remind you that if I brought home, what was it? How many things of Cadbury eggs?
200,000 Cadbury Creme Eggs.
Past you being appreciative, are you going to ask a lot of questions? Really?
I might be concerned if I saw there was a massive theft. I wouldn't want you, like, go to jail to satisfy my Cadbury Creme Egg addiction.
Nah, if you don't snitch, snitches get stitches. And I'm doing it for you. So my defense is, I did it because my wife told me to.
Oh, no. At no point did JJ tell you to make off with chicken wings and or Cadbury eggs. Don't put that lie out there.
So once again, if I go down, I'm taking everybody with me. I'll take the Uber driver with me.
The only person I feel that would get away with it is, wait, does this neighborhood still have the candy lady?
I don't know.
The one you had when you were a child? I mean, obviously not that same one.
No, because I think she passed on, but I haven't asked anyone around the neighborhood, but I'm sure, like, yeah, when you grew up, there was always a random candy lady in the area.
Not in my neighborhood. I've never heard of that before I met you.
Okay, I guess.
Should we explain it for the listeners?
I guess we can, sure.
Okay, you're going to have to explain it because it's a strange phenomenon for me. Oh, wait. I was the candy lady.
That explains a lot.
Go ahead, give your explanation first, and then I'll give mine.
No, there's no real explanation that has to be had.
No. Okay, you were saying how in your neighborhood, we were watching some movie, and they were talking about, like, hitting up the candy lady's house. And I was like, so, wait, there's, like, this strange house in the neighborhood that you go to, and they just sold you candy. And then that's when you said, well, wasn't that in your neighborhood? There was one in my neighborhood. And you described how there was just this house that you went up inside the house, and she had, like, a candy store that she was rocking in there.
Yeah, there was just some random lady. Generally, it's always near a bus stop where we would come across that, would either get her candy through, I don't know, like, not Walmart, I'm sorry, Sam's Club or Costco or something like that.
Or maybe she was friends with Joby Poole.
Could be.
You didn't ask where the candy came from.
I didn't know. No one asked where it came from, as long as it was like, not, killer candy, because we always had one gopher that would go, try it first. But the thing was, there was always some lady that would somehow get her candy through, I don't know, whatever means. And we generally always had friends that went with us, as we were waiting for the bus, who would get like a thing of candy for us, and we would pay the lady, and we didn't always go inside.
Yeah, I'm just amused by that, because, like, where I grew up, the idea of just going to some strange person's house, even if you got together 2 and 3 at a time, because that's an adult you don't know. They could have taken you all out.
Yeah, I never said we were bright, but we came in packs, so they couldn't get us all.
Now, the reference to me being a candy lady, when he told this story, at the time I was appalled that this is something that exists in certain neighborhoods that I was not privy to. And just now, as I was referencing it, it occurred to me, in my journey, I was the candy lady. And what that meant was, without going into a lot of detail, growing up as a child up until the time that I got maybe around 11, my family, first neighborhood that we lived in, unfortunately was a red-lined neighborhood.
Okay.
And you guys can Google and figure out what red line meant. And around the time I was age 6 or 7, it used to be that there were certain schools that were around the red line neighborhood. It was their way of making sure their schools weren't integrated in Indianapolis. And then someone caught wise to that and basically was like, dude, either you change where these townships sit or we're going to pull your funding. And then suddenly they were very welcoming of everyone to go to their school. So I went to school, and I lived in kind of a food desert before we moved, which meant that there wasn't any grocery stores that were nearby. You had to drive a little ways to get to them.
Okay.
However, there was a little bodega that wasn't very far for us called Linder's. And Linder's was known primarily for their ice cream, but then they also had, like, bread and Kool-Aid. That's where I got my comic books from, as well as a pretty substantial area that you can get penny candy. So it's not uncommon for my mama to send us to go to the store to pick up some bread and some butter pecan ice cream because, according to her, there's no other kind. And as we were doing this, I would take my money, whatever was left or whatever I managed to save, and pick up some penny candy. Now, what I eventually discovered is, as I was brought into the school system that was largely white until we integrated it in the 80s, is that my classmates did not have access to the good candy that we had at Linners. So yes, they didn't live in a food desert. But on the other hand, they had never seen an Astropop or the Now-Laters that used to come in the long Now-Laters, or things like that. The special stuff that apparently only found their way to the Black neighborhood I lived in.
Okay.
So one day, my classmates saw me eat an Astropop and asked if I could hook them up. I said, sure. I'll just have to go to the store and buy it. How much was it? Now, at this point...
Is this the beginning of the markup?
JJ realized that there is power in excess. This is my first real taste of capitalism. So I told her the price, but I checked it up. Okay, to be fair, I couldn't remember what the price was. So honestly, I think it was like 75, or I think it was like 50 cents or something like that. And I told her 75 cents or something. And once I found out the difference, I didn't exactly tell her. And they thought 75 cents to $1 was worth it to pay for this Astropop.
Yes, it also depends on where you do it. Because, if they have the ability to go to said places, one thing. But also, if they are like either on their way to school or in school and they don't have an open campus as such, yeah, you pay a little extra.
Well, there was no open campus. Open campus was not a thing where I went to school, 1.
Okay, that was me.
2, this was before the internet, so they couldn't look up make sure I was telling the truth.
Fair.
And 3, we lived in such a different neighborhood, and I was in a situation where in many of these classes, I was the only one of maybe 3 and 4 in a class of 20, African American or Black students. And what we found out was none of us was going to snitch on the other. So, hey, if they're willing to pay the jacked up price, everybody wins. Yeah. They get candy. I get extra money to buy my comic books and other shit. It was a win-win situation.
And thus began your entrepreneurial career.
Exactly. So as you're telling the story, I realized, holy crap, I was the candy lady. In this scenario, Joe could come up to me like, hey. So I got these like 200,000 Cadbury Creme Eggs. They're kind of hot. No, it's okay. But you know what? I don't think that would have worked in that scenario. Because my classmates would have known what a Cadbury Creme Egg costs. But they couldn't get their hand on an Astropop where they lived.
True. At the same time, if you have the capacity to a freezer or a refrigerator of some sort, you could refrigerate them, and because Cadbury eggs don't always...
seasonal. Yeah.
Exactly. If you sell them out of season, kind of like, buying a whole lot of Girl Scout cookies and then, putting them in a space. I like how old you basically tripped us up on that. But it's the concept of if you sell them out of season, you can make a king's ransom. You
know what? That is true, but I was only 6, and my grift only went so far, okay?
And you have people who snitched.
I was only 6 or 7. My grift at that point did not go the distance. That was later when Mr. Chirac caught up with me.
Exactly.
That's when he finally figured out that I was uppricing the gloves that I was selling to people. Because why? Because someone snitched.
Exactly. That's why you stand. You have to either cut in or cut out the snitches.
So now that we have my trauma figured out, as well as the fact that apparently I was the candy lady in my story. Good job to the English Police Department, the West Mercia Police, for catching Joby. So the Cadbury Creme Eggs are saved.
Even though, was this the... I just want to make sure I got my story straight. Was this the guy who said in his defense that he only did it as a prank?
I don't think he ever gave it a reason why.
Okay.
He just took the eggs.
See? He was an entrepreneurial work.
They just broke his hustle.
Yeah. In a chase.
So now that we have that out of the way, there is really no easy way to transition to this next story.
but we will.
And that is, when you think of Chick-fil-A, what exactly do you think of? You think of chicken sandwiches. You think of unusually friendly people. You think of, unfortunately, the bigotiness because their owners are not supportive of all the LGBTQ community. Yeah, that's right. I'm calling y'all out on it. But basically, it's in the name. When you go there, you expect what?
Chicken.
Chicken, right? You know, it's kind of like that story where we had with Raising King chicken fingers. Once again, you expect chicken fingers to be served. It's in the name. Well, as luck would have it, very soon you could go to Chick-fil-A and get something that's decidedly not chicken. As Chick-fil-A has recently announced, they're going to be making a new fried cauliflower sandwich.
A fried cauliflower sandwich.
Yes. So the sandwich looks a lot like their well-known fried sandwich that inadvertently started the whole Great Chicken Wars back in the day when Popeye decided and actually succeeded in creating a better sandwich. But they're testing a new sandwich right now in certain markets, in 3 different markets across the country, where it's going to be what they call a plant-forward entree. And I'll explain that in a moment, because usually restaurants will offer a vegetarian choice. And we've talked about it on the show, like the Impossible Whopper. I'm a big fan of the Impossible Whopper. In fact, a couple of weeks ago when we went grocery shopping,
yes,
you willingly picked up some Beyond Beef. I was shocked.
Trying to change my stratosphere of things I'm basically trying to stay alive, in part.
Well, we like that. So, according to them, according to their director of menu and packaging for Chick-fil-A, they said, obviously, we're committed to chicken and chicken is the hero. But it's becoming more and more prevalent that customers really want to find ways to increase vegetables in their diet. So, of course, they can order salads and without other items without chicken. But with this new item, what they decide to do is use cauliflower in a way, and they prepare it so it's modeled behind chicken. So they use the same breading, the 2 pickle slices, the toasted bun, and they marinate it in a mild buffalo-style sauce. And what they do is they pressure cook it to make sure that it can get kind of like the chicken texture, so to speak.
Okay.
But it is cauliflower. And they chose that primarily because of the fact that, you know, the way it holds up when you cook it. And cauliflower is often used as a substitute for chicken-based items, like those cauliflower chicken wings that I made several months ago that you liked before you realized that you were not eating chicken.
I still want to fight the air.
Now, the reason why they call it plant-forward and not a vegetarian sandwich is that even though that there's no meat at all in this, they actually make it in the same prep kitchen as they make their meat.
Okay.
So I know that a lot of people, for example, want to avoid getting into any type of situation when they have their vegetarian meals prepared that it's not interacting with meat in any way. In their mind, they don't feel comfortable. And I admire their honesty of saying that, yeah, we're going to offer this for you. It's made with cauliflower, pickles, bread, milk, eggs, the whole 9 yards. But, you know, we are a chicken sandwich. It's in our name. It's going to be made in the same place. If you can live with that, then yeah, sure, it's vegetarian. But even though they're meticulous about food safety, there's not going to be in the restaurants, if they go forward and offer this throughout the country, a place reserved just for this preparation. And it's important to note, by the way, because it does contain egg products and milk products as opposed to simply just cauliflower, pickles, and bread alone.
Yes.
That it would never be considered vegan.
Right.
So what do you think about this? Is this something that you would try?
I would try it, but no one gets to tell me what it is before I try it first.
So it would be one thing that I would actually have to trick you into eating, like
yes.
Normal.
Exactly. Because if I know about it, and I just like walk into it, I'm like, okay. I can already tell that my mind is going to tell me no. I will not do this. This is not cool.
But take a look at it, because if you look at it on its face, there is no way you could tell. Everything just kind of popped up, and I'm not sure why. But basically, you could tell that it's not, you can't tell that it's a sandwich made with cauliflower.
No, you can put lipstick on a pig.
Just call that a pig, really? It looks like a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a sandwich, and yes, you could, dress it up any way you want, but if your mind tells you that whether or not you call it plan forward, it basically it's the taste, it's the consistency once it goes in your mouth. Now, like I said, if that's something that I'm not like against, this being made or whatnot, but pretty much that it, as soon as you taste it, you're going to know it's not the same as everything else on the menu.
Well, look at it this way. Because you once felt that way about Impossible Beef.
Yeah.
And you've been able to eat it and make sandwiches over it and things like that. So once you get over the quote-unquote mental side of it, it's something that you can easily enjoy.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we'll never do it, but pretty much with cauliflower, sometimes you do, depending on how it's dressed up, it's cauliflower when you eat it. As opposed to, there's some other, I guess, concoctions that, yes, when you eat it, it's a little better masked, as we would say. But making the way that the chicken sandwich at Chik-fil-a is kind of built on and how the consistency comes across is probably not as easy to mask.
Well, it's interesting that you said that, because in marketing this new release, apparently Chik-fil-a had invited several press organizations to come and check it out. One of the organizations that wrote on their experience is Southern Living, which, if you're familiar with that magazine, let me tell you, they're all about the fried chicken. Okay? So anyway, this one particular writer, Kimberly Holland, was invited in early February in order to take a peek at the new sandwich. She said that the sandwich was made with whole cauliflower slices or slabs that have been marinated in a buffalo-style sauce, dipped in an egg wash, and double breaded. So it's prepared just in every way like the original Chick-fil-A sandwich. Now, she said that she found the patty incredibly juicy and actually more tender than a classic chicken fillet. The buffalo marinade, she said, was mild. It added just a hint of vinegar, but very low burn. And she said, more importantly, the way that they did it, truth be told, if you didn't know what the patty was, odds are you wouldn't be able to guess. And that's the whole point. As people become more and more conscious of what they're eating, restaurants like Chick-fil-a, and to a larger degree, burger restaurants like Burger King, and I think even Applebee's now has like a Beyond Burger type option.
Okay.
They're going to have to be really great at kind of hiding the fact that you're eating something that's quote unquote plant forward. And I just think that this is a trend. I know we have talked about it as it pretty much over the length of our podcast, if this is going to be a trend that's going to be staying, and it looks like it is, which kind of changes the game, because I remember when we were in college, when I had my first friend that was decidedly vegetarian, and for the short period of time that I went vegetarian myself, again, not necessarily for moral reasons, it's just the meat was hella expensive when I was in grad school. The fact that they have far more choices that are available, and choices that decidedly taste more like the meat substance that we love, do you think this will lead more and more people to become vegetarian or integrate this more into their lifestyle?
Oh, goodness. It truly depends on the person and, why. Because, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan. I'm not an Episcopalian.
That does not mean what you think it means.
I don't care. I'm not that. But no, I think for overall health reasons, it's not something that I would choose as a lifestyle, but I think because I think we're all trying to stay around a little longer and we're trying to live a little longer, I have to concede sometimes that yes, in order to not eat the same sausage or chicken sandwich or burger every day, that, yeah, there needs to be different alternatives. And, yeah, swapping out, this sandwich once or twice a week and whatnot might actually be beneficial. It's just as long as Chick-fil-A is true to their mantra of making really good products and that they put in the work on it. I will say that.
Well, if you would like to try your own Chick-fil-A cauliflower sandwich, you should act fast. They've been offering it since mid-February, but you can only get them at select stores right now in Colorado, South Carolina, and North Carolina.
So basically, they're avoiding Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. Let's see, Arkansas. You said there's nothing in Missouri, right?
No,
yeah.
it's just
So I'm
those
thinking
three
of
locations.
all the big southern states that have a lot of the beef eaters.
You know what? You don't have to be a southern state to appreciate fried chicken. It's fried chicken.
Yeah, but if you want good fried chicken,
Hey, I do not live down there, and I make good fried chicken.
but you spent time down there.
And technically, it's a Southern family member's recipe. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. Like I said, no shock, but at the same time, yeah. I was thinking in my head, like when they were testing this out, that they had to probably test them in places where you're not going to have like Bubba and his friends.
Well, if you live in those three locations, definitely try it out. Unfortunately, if you do not, you may have to make a road trip from work or whatever just to get your hands on one. But just so you know, our third story will actually make that easier. As long as you make that road trip on St. Patrick's Day. So I know what you guys are thinking. Why specifically that? And how St. Patrick's Day will make getting away in order to road trip for a sandwich or anything basically easier. Well, this has to do with Jameson Irish Whiskey. The brand, which is become synonymous for many people with St. Patrick's Day, they're concerned that people are not doing enough in order to celebrate, which, first of all, we live in Chicagoland. I'm not even sure how that's a thing. Where we live, they love Chicago. Chicago loves St. Patrick's Day so much that they colored the river green every year.
Green dye for days.
So clearly, we know how to throw a damn good party when it comes to St. Patrick's Day. But you know what? Jameson's Irish Whiskey believes that not everyone has that same fervor. Plus, they know that people are not taking time off for various reasons. In fact, according to them, in a 2020 study, over 61% of U.S. workers feel guilty about taking time off from work for reasons that ranges from worrying about falling behind on a project or feeling less valued about their coworkers. So, not to be deterred, they decided to help us out a bit by coming up with your own desk decoy.
Desk decoy.
Yes.
Yes.
So, in order to encourage us to skip our normal 9 to 5 in order to take time out and party a little bit in name of the Irish and St. Patrick's Day, they have created the Jameson Desk Decoy, which is actually a life-size cardboard cutout of yourself that you can set up at your workstation while you're off partying.
Yes, I agree.
So they even came up with a concept that's called an SPTO, which stands for a St. Patrick's Day time off.
So it's like an FTO or a PTO type.
But just for that. So according to their vice president of marketing, we've all been there before. Your boss forgot that you took an SPTO and swings by in order to meet with you one-on-one. Or your finance department didn't get your SPTO memo and request your latest expense report while you're out of the office. So that's why in the true spirit of Jameson's, we're introducing the Jameson's Desk Decoy, a comical life-size version of yourself for the office, so the real you can take a planned time off and go celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So if you'd like to order your own, you can go through their website. Of course, I'll put it in the show notes. And between now and March 10th, you can order it. You'll have to upload a photo of your face, which Jameson theme outfit you'd like your cardboard you to wear, and then decide if it should stand 5'6" or 5'11", so I can make a taller version of me. I almost want to do this so it can be bigger, taller than me for a change.
Yeah, it comes in 5'6" or it comes in 5'11".
Yes.
It's gonna be bigger than you.
Well, that's the whole point.
Yes, no matter what.
I'm saying I want to order one so I can finally say that I'm 5'11". Now, it only costs $17.80 plus tax for every desk decoy. And in case you're wondering where they came up with that price, it's because Jameson was founded in 1780.
Okay.
Smart, right?
They're still making money one way or another.
So, again, between now and March 10th, in order to assure that you'll get delivery by St. Patrick's Day. And in case you're wondering what they're doing with the money, okay, they are donating 100% of the proceeds from the desk decoy sales to an actually really cool place. It's called the Restaurant Workers Community Fund, and will make an additional $25,000 contribution to the organization. So they're one of the funds that came up that have been helping restaurants stay afloat during, some of the difficult times tied to the pandemic.
Okay.
Now, if you're unsure how to pull this off, you can go to their website and you can see a series of videos with actress Regina Hall. So, again, love it already, where she demonstrates how her desk decoy helps her bill on The Office. And I gotta say, all the marketing strategies that are just truly, truly helpful, I like this one. I think if we can get this going, this could be a less offensive time-honored tradition than some of the other things tied to St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I agree.
So, would you do this? Would you take advantage of this? Would I go into the office and see well, first of all, you would choose what, the 5'11"?
Well, yes, I would.
And would this benefit you if you worked from home? Because I figured that this would only work if you work in an office straight out.
Do it on Zoom meetings, I guess.
If you have to turn on your camera. That's what I would keep it for, if I have to turn on my camera.
Yeah. Okay, first and foremost, I would use this thing all year long. It would literally be like the most, because during Zoom meetings, you don't always know if everybody's paying attention.
Right.
So thus, yeah, that thing would be in every single Zoom meeting. You would never see, my real face at all for the rest of this year. Y'all would be like, why does he look so wooden now? They'll be like, wait a minute. He has this, sheen on his face. No, that wasn't me.
No, they'll just look, wow, tea looks really fresh.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll put one with a smile on me on my face. That way they know it's different. Because, every Zoom meeting, I have, a mean mug face.
I would tweak mine. So it may not even be my selfie. It would be like Halle Berry's or something that I will tweak to get rid of my double chin or something.
I'm good with that. But I'm also thrown by the fact that, yes, for me, Lord willing, unless something comes up, unless somebody is taking their own STPO,
right?
My office, I think that, I think it falls on my day because this St. Patrick's Day falls on a Friday first. It also falls on the second day of the NCAA tournament.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah. And unless somebody's icing their Warhols.
Which I don't understand. Why can't you guys just use vacation days for that? Why do men schedule vasectomies in order to be able to watch that?
I don't know.
See, they invented this for you.
They did. Because it keeps us from having to, go get the vasectomy during the NCAA tournament.
You guys don't know what that is talking about. We talked about it in a previous podcast. Just Google it. It is the most insane thing ever.
Yeah, it's basically men icing their, there's,
men
kibbles and bits.
Men purposely plan vasectomies around the NCAA tournament so they have an excuse to sit and watch it. Because they don't know how to take vacation time. I just don't get that.
Yeah, because they, I'm sure they're saving it for other things, and or as you said, they feel self-conscious about having to, take this time off for basketball. But yeah,
you know why you're on vacation. You just do it.
Depends on the boss.
Okay.
One, but I would also like to say that this would actually become very useful throughout the rest of the year because, as you know, in America, we find all kind of reasons to drink.
Yeah.
We are the country that literally will drink on, St. Patrick's Day. We would drink on Easter, even though it's Sunday. We will drink on, Cinco de Mayo. We will drink on Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, going backwards, going to Memorial Day. We'll drink on Father's Day. We'll drink on Flag Day. Of course, the 4th of July. I'm trying to think, we'll find a holiday in August to celebrate.
So, in other words, this will get a lot of use.
Yes. We'll be like, it'll be the Baseball Hall of Fame induction. Let's drink to it.
You know, one of the best things about this campaign is whoever came up with this clearly has spent time as an office drone. So I can give a lot of respect for that because one of the things they've done besides create this decoy is they even have templates of emails that you can send to get you out of work. So like one of the sample emails that says, "Hello, thanks for the email. It's great hearing from you. It's also a great time to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, which is why I'm out of the office on an official SPTO. Spending time with friends and family. Hope you can do the same. Cheers." So there's even specialized out-of-office emails. So they've thought of everything.
Yes, they did.
Now, of course, you're still going to get fired if your boss realizes that you put a cardboard decoy in your seat instead of actually doing the work.
Not unless he does it first.
But if you're willing to risk it, hey, more power to you.
That's right. If he or she does it before I do, then hey, we're all doing this as a community.
I personally like this one. The image of the decoy. "Hi, so this isn't me. This is my Jameson desk decoy. Here to take care of things while I'm away from the office enjoying St. Patrick's Day time off. Whatever you need, they can help. Unless you need them to write or talk. But don't worry. I'll be back on Monday. Happy St. Patrick's Day. JJ." So again, hats off to the great people at Jameson Irish Whiskey for coming up with this. And if you want to order your own, you can find the link in our show notes. So guys, here's the thing. We're going to take a break. Sorry. Hopefully this doesn't come out as a rough cut on the podcast. Because at one point, to be fair, all of our pets decided just in unison to go insane. So we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we are going to close out with our choices of the best thing we ate this week. So you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast, and we will be right back. Hey Gooberland, this is JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober. Do you consider yourself gumber worthy? Maybe you're a little bit gourmet and a lot ratchet. Well, if so, tell the world what your very own Goober Gear, from aprons and mugs to t-shirts and hoodies, is the perfect way to support our show while telling the world that you're part of Gooberland. So just head over to gooberswag.com, that's gooberswag.com, and get your very own Goober Gear now. Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
And this is T Outlaw.
And we are back with the last segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast where we share the best thing we ate this week. And you know what? I love the title, but actually it's the best thing we ate since we were last on the mic. And if you're new to the show, that's where we share the recipes or the dishes from restaurants or, you know, the great food truck that we came across. Basically, if there's good grub, we want to tell you about it. How about that?
I'll take it.
As always, we invite all of our listeners to share with us the best thing they ate this week. So if you have something you want the world to know about, drop us a line at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com and we may read your comment on the show. So as always, we start with Big Daddy. And I know it's been a little while since we've been on the mic. What is the best thing you had since we last spoke to the audience?
Well, I'm going to make this short and sweet. The best thing I had actually came about because of a Midwestern type of Mardi Gras.
Are you talking about the Punchki Day?
Also, it's Punchki Day.
Or Fat Tuesday, obviously.
Or Fat Tuesday, yes. So the best thing I ate this week was because with Mardi Gras, as with a lot of things, like we usually get king cake and, we are strolling around in beads, and this is what the pretense for lynching season. So the Goober came home with a box of pastries that are called punchkis. And the Goober will explain it to you better, because if I explain it, it's going to come across as really culturally insensitive.
Okay, well, I'm not sure about that. But punchkis, which is funny because if you look at it, it does not look like it should be pronounced that way. But since coming to Chicago, I have learned it is pronounced punchkis. Punchkis are a traditional Polish pastry that is fried and usually filled with some goodness. And we'll kind of go over some of the flavors in a moment. But it's kind of like, you know what? I really like the way the Smithsonian Magazine described it. They described a fresh fried punchki. It's like a donut crossed with a brioche. Wouldn't you say that's kind of correct?
Yes, the bread was it was definitely different than that of your traditional fried donuts.
Yes, exactly. So in Poland, they're traditionally made on the Thursday before Ash Wednesday, but many Polish Americans enjoy it on what they traditionally call Punchki Day, which, having relatives down south, I'm more familiar with that with Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday. So you can get it, as I mentioned before, traditionally filled with a lot of, sweet fillings, like the punchkis we got had, it had like a Boston cream filling.
Yeah, Boston cream filling, a little bit of buttercream and some. There was also
a raspberry, which was really good. I was really surprised. But they also have it in everything from apple to cherry to prune, apparently. Prune is actually really popular around here, which I wouldn't think to put prune in a donut.
And I wouldn't choose to eat it either.
But it is actually very, very popular. So Punchki Day is celebrated traditionally around the Midwest, in places, any place where they have like a big Polish heritage population, right? And so we definitely have that in the Midwest, especially in Chicago, which is huge. But I'm also familiar that they celebrate in places like Buffalo and Detroit, to the point where here in the Windy City area, we just call it Punchki Day. So it's kind of like a huge thing, to the point where, bakers around that time of year, the week leading up to Fat Tuesday, they take advantage of it. In fact, there is this one baker that's really, really popular in Chicago. I think they're called Delightful Pastries. Guess how many punchkis that they traditionally sell the week of Fat Tuesday? If you're the place to guess.
I'm going to take a gather and say like maybe, I don't know, a couple thousand.
Try 20 to 25,000 punchkis just during that week alone.
Okay.
Dude, right?
Yeah. It's a lot. Hot.
Yes. So if you have an opportunity to grab a good punchki where you are, definitely try them. They're worth a try. It's one of my favorite traditions here. Traditionally, I always try to get king cake. So this year, I don't know, I just couldn't get a king cake. And it was literally the day of Mardi Gras. I turned to you and I was like, the day is not going to end without me having a punchki.
No, she was very determined putting together this punchki, collage.
And let me tell you, if you're going to go on Punchki Day, go early. Because I made the mistake of going midway during the day, and I had a bizarre incident where I think this little lady was going to throw down on me.
Because you was going to box with, Sophia Petrillo?
She looked like she was about to lay hands for the last chocolate-filled punchki. And in the end, we didn't get that, so I just let her have it. I was like, you know what? It would be hella odd for me to be in the news arrested because I get smacked the hell up by someone's nana. So I was like, you know what? This box is perfect.
That's a damn shame. You was going to have to sharpen your elbows just to get a couple of boxes, just get a box.
Someone's nanny was about to take me out. I'm just saying. But I have to say, if you get your hands on one of the box of punchkis that is fresh made, definitely recommend it. And I'm glad you liked it, because I know that's not something that we traditionally have. So I was kind of worried that you didn't really dig it. Just curious, because I know we had like the Boston cream pie, the cream cheese one, and the raspberry one. Which was your favorite?
I like them all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did like them all. Like, I mean, I'm not a person who eats a lot of, as you say, like the fruit pie type fillings. I would love to say Boston cream pie.
Yeah, that was hella good.
Yeah.
I was surprised how much I liked the raspberry one.
Yeah, it was too.
Even though I like filled donuts, I usually stick away from like the ones that are filled with like fruit, because usually they're like uber sweet. But that's one of the nice things about a punchki is it's not like overly sickeningly sweet, at least the ones I've had. And that includes the dough as well. So yay, I'm glad you liked it.
I did. It was the best thing I ate this week.
Well, I'm going to actually, because this article in the Smithsonian does a really awesome job of explaining the tradition of Punchki Day. So I'll share it in the show notes. And even though by the time this podcast comes out, at least in 2023, Punchki Day is already passed. But if you're lucky like we are and live in a place where they do have a sizable Polish heritage community, then the odds are you could probably get your hands on one all year round. So if that's the case, kind of encourage you to do so. So my choice for the best thing we had this week is actually a new place that opened down the street from us. And it's called Jet's Pizza. And Jet's Pizza, if you're not familiar with it, they make different types of pizza, including like thin crust, what we call tavern style pizza here in Chicagoland. But they're best known for their Detroit style pizza. And if you've not had a slice of Detroit style pizza, oh my God, please make it your mission. If you can get your hands on some by you, it is really, really next level delicious. Now, what makes Detroit style pizza unique is how it's made. So traditional Detroit style pizza, first of all, instead of it being circular, it's in a rectangular shape. And usually, like, for example, Jet's Pizza, they sell it by corners, right?
Right.
So their large pizzas, like an 8-corner pizza, or I think the smaller one is like 2 or 4-corner pizza. The reason why is that one of the great things about it is with the dough, and they cook it in these thick steel pans. So it's almost like a deep dish type of crust, but not in a Chicago style way. You have that like crispness.
Yeah, you have the really hard, solid, I'm not going to say burnt ends, but you'll have the hard, crispy ends.
Yeah, it's definitely crispy, crunchy outside the crust. Also, one of the unique things about a Detroit style pizza is sort of how they lay the tomatoes and the cheese. In fact, traditionally, I believe they use like a brick style cheese. That makes it unique. But yeah, it's just awesome. I could take maybe 10 or 20 minutes going into the nuances of the pizza. But I'm just going to save your time and just say it's awesome. So it's one of the definitive style pizzas that's unique to cities in the United States, much like New York style pizza or Chicago. And yes, Jon Stewart, if you ever hear this, Chicago style pizza is pizza. Don't let me get you started on that. Okay. But Jet's Pizza has brought the Detroit style pizza. They've opened up a place near us, and it's kind of nice because, you know, living in the Midwest, but not in Detroit proper, sometimes it's a little hard to get your hands on that type of pizza. You know what? I do remember. Oh my gosh. So the pizza that we ordered when we found that they opened, we like ran towards them. I think within the first week they were open because we were dying to try it. And so we got what's known as their Eugene Supreme. So with that, you get your pizza sauce. They don't use the brick cheese that I've heard is traditional for that kind. but instead they use mozzarella. But then it has Italian sausage, green peppers, onions, and then they call them mild peppers, but for us in the Chicagoland area and different places, it's pepperoncinis.
Yeah, don't bring that little crappy peppers. Yeah, you gotta bring good, solid peppers, including pepperoncinis.
And you would think pepperoncinis on a pizza would be like kind of hella weird with their, tangy goodness that's on it. But really, it paired really well with the sweetness of the tomato sauce, the savoriness of the Italian sausage. It was just what we needed to bring the pizza to a second level of goodness.
Yeah, it worked really well with the cheese.
Yeah, because you weren't sure if you were going to dig it at first, but you liked it too, right?
Yeah, now that I have sampled good Detroit-style pizza, now I've become almost like a connoisseur or bougie about it. I'm like, you can't just have, like Pizza Hut style of Detroit style. You have to have like a good emphasis, good, almost great vendor to make good Detroit pizza.
No, it was definitely one of my favorite things that I've had an opportunity to have pizza-wise. So if you can get your hands on a Jet's Pizza, and I know that they're in different locations across the country, definitely check it out. Unfortunately, I don't think they ship for those of you who live outside the area. However, do you remember, who made it? Oh, the Outsider. Okay. All right. If a Jet Pizza is not by you and you want to try a good Detroit-style pizza, remember that frozen pizza company that I like so much that I tweeted them several years ago, and we've been tweeting back and forth ever since?
Yes.
The Outsiders Pizza Company. They make, as one of their specialties, a Detroit-style pizza that is really, really good. Not just for a Detroit style, but just like a frozen pizza, period. 'Cause, sometimes frozen pizza doesn't live up to its promise.
It's sometimes it's really sad.
Yeah, sometimes we weep to call it pizza. But I have to say, if I could give my thumbprint of approval, if you can find an Outsiders Detroit style pizza, it's not 100% like obviously get it from Jet's Pizza, right? Because, they make it fresh for you there. But the Detroit style, I would say the frozen pizza we get from Outsiders is pretty close, right?
I would agree.
Yeah. So get your hands on that, and you know what? I will find a link and put that in the show notes as well. So here you have it. You've heard yet another episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. Big Daddy, where can they find you online?
Well, you can find me once again as Tiala.
Because he can spell.
Thank you. On Twitter. And you can also find me on Instagram at Tiala Josie Wells.
And you can always find me JJ Outlaw. I'm on Twitter at JJ Outlaw. I'm on Spatable at JJ Outlaw. Again, I'll put a link to the show notes. Shout out to Chris Marbuzzi for putting that together. And I am on Insta at Gourmet Goober. So we're so glad that you enjoyed listening to us. Hopefully you can catch us again on a future episode. Until next time, this is Big Daddy and I saying happy eating.
Happy eating.